Welcome to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan, where we're going to cast and blast you right out of this world with some of the best hunting and fishing stories that you can't even imagine.
This is John Hennigan, and we also have our host, Frank Selby, Fish on Talk Radio. This is John Hennigan, and our host, Frank Selby, will be on in a couple of minutes. He's trying to get back in off the stream. Is that Frank? Okay. Oh, Frank, you're on time. Frank.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're still alive. I know that last week you really had to push through.
Lucky I am. I went to the doctor. They said if I'd have waited a couple more days, I'd have pneumonia.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. No, we don't want to do that. Hey, Frank, we've only got a couple minutes. Let's use it wisely before we go on. I want to talk about some deals that we're offering our listeners that is absolutely, positively incredible. First of all, Snowbee are running some ads, and they want to find out if they work. So what they want to do is give a 20% discount for anyone that just uses the discount code FishTalk. And their stuff is so good and so inexpensive. You could get a complete combo with
for $149.
Well, for now this is quality stuff. I mean, it's not high end, but it's quality. Lifetime warranty on the rod, and it's it's not the top of the line reel, but it's good and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. So you get a rod, a reel, the line, and if someone wants to purchase that, I think I know somebody that might give them a couple of flies. So let's go to Snowbee. We'll talk some more about it. And also, we have a trip coming up we're going to talk about that's absolutely incredible. It's to a high-end lodge in Ketchikan we haven't been to before. It's called Salmon Falls. And you look it up, and it is incredible. Beautiful.
I looked at it.
Beautiful. Anyway, if you call the lodge and book the trip, it's about $3,300 and worth every penny. We're going to offer it to our listeners for $2,100, and that includes a full day charter, transportation, all inclusive. So pay close attention to that. I mean, if you don't go on this trip, then you don't want to go to Alaska. So, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and see if we can get going. We'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes.
A few years ago, a sailor set out to design a boat shoe that was comfortable and stable, non-skid, and wouldn't mark the decks. Today, these incredibly comfortable shoes are worn by anglers, boaters, professional guides, and charter captains. Go to softscience.com to see more. Soft Science shoes and boots are lightweight and shock absorbent with just the right level of support. Several styles come in all sizes. Enjoy the Soft Science shoe in the water and out. Check them out at softscience.com.
It's time for you to take a real fun adventure. Join a hosted fishing adventure to Alaska or Baja with the staff of Fish Talk Radio. Real Fun Adventures can book you on any adventure you desire. Bring your fishing friends or meet new ones. Fish Talk Radio gets the best deals from our sponsors to give you the best possible price. Real Fun trips are inclusive, easy, no-worry packages to the most popular fish grounds. Trips start around $600. Go to REELFunadventures.com.
If you are still using a plastic hard-shell cooler, things have changed for the better. AO coolers are lighter with twice the efficiency of the traditional bulky coolers. AO coolers are the best available soft-sided cooler with 3/4-inch high-density closed-cell foam insulation. They will keep ice frozen for 24 hours in hot weather. Easy to carry, less space, it fits product inside for better performance. Go to aocoolers.com to order or find a retailer. Available at West Marine.
With a long pedigree, the Snowbee brand today offers the very best equipment modern technology can provide. Started in Europe, Snowbee is now providing quality fly fishing gear in the USA. Waders, clothing, rods, reels, fly lines, bags, and innovative new accessories. Enjoy your sport and leisure time more than ever. The affordable value of Snowbee makes it available to everyone. Go to snowbee-usa.com.
Have you noticed the changes in Google lately? Did anybody line you out? You can't fake it anymore. They know who said it first, who said it best, who said it the most, who was the most popular, and that just happens to be me since the late 80s, which means that I can put up a page, a post, or a website, optimize it properly, spread it around to 22 million people, and put you on top of your results pages for your chosen searches basically overnight. WhiteMountainBusiness.com. Don't want to wait that long? Already have a website that you thought was optimized and doesn't rank anywhere? I can fix that too. Maybe you don't want to wait. Maybe you just want to call me. 928-228-9228. That's 928-228-9228. I've done it for literally thousands, and I can do it for you.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan, and we also have our host, Frank Selby, who, fortunately, is still alive. But we don't know about next week, right, Frank?
Yeah, you got a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Anyway, and we have our good friend Steve Lynch, co-owner of ProCure. And ProCure, gosh, how long has that been around, Steve? I remember it from years.
Since 1984.
Yeah. And, the original ProCure is if you wanted to cure your own salmon eggs or whatever it was you wanted to use for bait. But they've come a long ways, and they are huge. How many different varieties of scents do you have?
So we have about 430 different SKUs right now.
Now, is that SKUs or how many different types of scents?
Well, yeah. So of scents, we probably have 140 scents, and then in that we have it in different sizes and shapes.
Right.
I got one quick question.
Yes.
You got the sand crab scent?
We do not have sand crab. We have blue crab and cheddar crab.
Whoa.
But not a sand crab.
Well, sand crab don't smell.
Yes, they do.
Do they? Okay.
Well, and unfortunately, we have to find a commercial harvesting, somebody that's actually harvesting the bait to purchase it from them. So some baits, if no one's harvesting them, it's just not possible for us to get our hands on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you buy by the truckload.
We usually start out with a few thousand pounds, then we go from there. But yeah, just to make sure that we can stabilize it, and then get a good marketplace for it. And then it'll go up from there, to 10,000. Like on the eggs, we're probably 40,000 pounds a year. Wow. Salmon eggs, just for the cure and crush.
Wow. Well, the reason that you've gotten so big is not hard to figure out.
It works.
Exactly.
When
my people don't catch it, when my people aren't catching fish, I will put a little scent on a fly for them, and they start catching them.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you put scent on a fly, as I recall, Steve, you use a water-based.
You want a water-soluble. And we do a true fish oil, and we run it through a special machine at about 15,000 RPMs to put a binding agent.
Oh.
And that takes that oil and makes it water-soluble. So it won't mat the fly down and turn it into just a big snot ball going down the river. It'll still flutter and breathe.
Mm-hmm. And
look like a real bug.
Yeah. And, the other thing is, we've talked about it before, but I'm not real clear. Now, fish, their sensories are different than ours. Now, from what I understand, when there's no light, a human eye cannot see, but they can. When you go down 30, 40, 50 feet, and a fish can still see, but there's no light down there, no white light.
Correct. They're seeing the ultraviolet, and that's why we're putting the UV in all of our products.
Uh-huh.
So we cannot see it unless we have a special light, but yet the fish can see it. So even if fishing down deep or murky water, the fish can still see it.
Now, sense of smell. I mean, fish have a nose, but I don't think that they breathe through their nose and get the scent. But give us an idea about how they pick up the scent.
Well, the different species actually do different ways. They have a sensory nostril that they can smell, usually right close by their nose. Some do through their gills. So they're all different ways, just depending on which species of fish.
Well, I know the lateral lines on fish are used for different perceptions.
Correct.
Does that include scent?
I'm not 100% sure. I've read articles that are convincing both ways. So, I personally believe they do, but then there are some out there saying that is false.
Okay.
So I've read articles on both ways, so I'm not 100% certain on that.
Mm-hmm. But
that's a very good question.
The other thing is that, a dog, their sense of smell is like 50 times ours. But when you put the scent in the water, you hear about, sharks coming to blood.
Correct.
And I've witnessed halibut. If you go up there and there's somebody on their halibut spot, and you come up there within a quarter mile of their boat, they get very upset.
They do.
The reason for that is because they've got they take a whole half of a salmon or something and drop it down with what you call the butt juice, which stands for halibut juice, by the way. We're not being rude, but
sure. I don't name it. I just sell it, John. Yeah. But what that does, it puts out a scent trail, and that's what they can pull them in from quite a far distance. So that's why they get angry.
My understanding is it's about a mile, but it's certainly
That's the average rule of thumb. If you, especially like up in Canada and Alaska, if you get within sight of another boat, man, they come unglued.
Yeah.
If they're anchored up and have a scent trail going, and you try to get within a mile of them.
Yeah.
We don't have that fortune here on the Oregon coast. I mean, we're 60 feet, 70, 80 feet apart, on the days that let us go out. So there's just so much boat traffic, we can't get that kind of space. Mm-hmm. But in Alaska and Canada, they get a little grumpy if you get too close to them. That's for sure.
Well, and what you do is you put the scent out, and it might take 15, 20 minutes for them to come in and find it. And, obviously you're fishing at slack tide because you don't want a strong current. And, normally you go out and catch some pinks or guppies or something, and then, the small ones you cut in half, the bigger ones you cut in thirds. So you got 3-4 pounds of salmon sitting on the bottom of the ocean. And with the scent on it, it disperses throughout the water. And the halibut, that's what they do, is the salmon that go upriver and die, and then they can wash out into the ocean, and that's what the halibut eat. So it's,
I take it you've done it a time or two. You're pretty well spot on.
Yeah, once or twice, yeah.
Yes.
But, and then, if you're there for an hour and you don't get a bite, then you should probably try something else. But, you put it down and let a chance for the bait to work. So if you come up too close to another boat and you put your scent out, then it's going to draw their fish away.
Correct.
But it's all I can say is that I've been to Alaska 15 times in the last 15 years, and it's everybody has it. All the people that know what they're doing, they've got, and they don't buy the 2-ounce bottles either.
No, they're buying. A lot of the outfitters and guides are. We put it up in half-gallon, 1-gallon containers for them. But even in the Safeway stores up there, the cars is what they call them, they're selling the 8-ounce bottles of it, right by the motor oil and, the car accessory parts. So it's pretty much in every supermarket, gas station, mart, and of course, sporting goods throughout Alaska.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what can I say? Obviously, it works. So if anybody is interested, now it doesn't have to be halibut. There are certain things, well, squid, for example. I believe that I've heard that something like 7% of the biomass of all fish in the ocean are squid. And squid is a universal bait.
It is.
You can use
we sell squid California all the way up through Florida.
And in Baja, it's the favorite. So it's, from Baja to Alaska to Florida. And it's, again, it works. But then you're in specific places, especially off where we are with sardines and anchovies. That's the premier bait around here.
Correct, in the Northwest. Like you said, from Mexico through California, Oregon, Washington, and Canada, they all get the anchovy, the herring, and the sardine runs. So those are a great scent. And then we buy specialty baits. We have a blend we do just for the calico bass in Southern California.
Yeah.
But we have baits that we do and process for the Florida and the Southeast market as well, like the mullet and Hayden.
Steve,
fish.
Unfortunately, we're out of time again. But it's,
I hate when that happens.
I know. The problem is I get you on and we got so much more to talk about, so that's why we keep bringing you back. But we appreciate sharing that information with us. And it's pretty easy. It's pro-cure.com, right?
Yes, sir.
And
that's all you need.
And you can find
every
it
major
anywhere.
retailer does sell it.
Right. Okay, Steve, we appreciate that, and we'll be talking to you soon. You are listening to Fish Hunt Talk Radio, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, back to work on Monday night.
Fish on!
It's a big one.
For passionate sports fishermen who value first-class fishing experiences paired with personalized service and amenities, all-inclusive Salmon Falls Fishing Resort on the Inland Passage reinvents the Ketchikan fishing getaway. Guests enjoy exceptional gourmet cuisine, superior fishing excursions, fully guided charter or self-guided in center console boats accommodating 3 anglers, updated guest rooms and suites, on-site fishing processing to clean, freeze, and pack your catch. Rooms range from log cabin rustic to modern. Our 52 rooms offer the ultimate in comfort after a long day of sightseeing, fishing, and exploring Ketchikan. Non-anglers love Salmon Falls too. Shopping along Creek Street, kayaking, hiking, whale watching, or gathering around our fire pits with a hot beverage, all at prices less than expected. Just pull up Salmon Falls Resort in your search engine.
The East Cape of Baja, Mexico is world famous for sport fishing. Dorado, tuna, wahoo, marlin, sailfish, roosterfish, and pargo. The Van Wormer resorts make dreams come true at a price all can afford. Hotel Palmas de Cortez, Playa del Sol, and Hotel Punta Colorado have the biggest and best sport fishing fleet in all of Mexico. Call toll-free to 877-777-TUNA to find out how affordable world-class fishing can be. The finest resorts and the best boats in East Cape. Call 877-777-TUNA.
Vagabundos Del Mar Boat and Travel Club has 42 years experience introducing RVers to the joys of Mexico. Specializing in Baja, Vagabundos leads caravans and sponsors fishing tournaments, trailer boat cruises, and weekend getaways in Mexico and the West. Vagabundos Del Mar also saves its 10,000 members tons of money on low-cost auto insurance. Stay up to date on Mexican travel with the printed newsletter online at vagabundos.com or call 800-474-BAJA.
With a long pedigree, the Snowbee brand today offers the very best equipment modern technology can provide. Started in Europe, Snowbee is now providing quality fly fishing gear in the USA. Waders, clothing, rods, reels, fly lines, bags, and innovative new accessories. Enjoy your sport and leisure time more than ever. The affordable value of Snowbee makes it available to everyone. Go to snowbee-usa.com.
A full-service fly shop, His and Her Fly Fishing, offers FFI-certified international fly fishing instructor and guide service with Frank Selby. Listen to Frank as host of FishHuntTalkRadio.com or listen live Saturdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Sirius XM Radio Channel 211. Custom flies are handmade to your order in-house in Newport Beach. Fishing in Mexico, Belize, Florida, or the Rockies, Frank and the staff will deliver exactly what you need. Flies and gear. Google His and Her Fly Fishing.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
Yes, this is John Hennigan, and we have our host, Frank Selby, who's hanging in there. He's a trooper. He's almost dead, but he's not there yet. and then we... Anyway, apparently, he wasn't feeling well last week or the last couple of weeks, but turns out he's got pneumonia. But he's a tough old bird, so I'm not worried about him. And we have Mark Wild, and I'll let Frank and Mark talk for a little bit about some interesting things in fly fishing and what they do. If you don't mind, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, hi, Mark. First thing you want to do is get your website out.
Okay. So you want me to, I should mention that now?
Right now.
Yeah, unclejammers.com.
That's a strange. What's the story behind that?
Well, you kind of have to book a trip with me to get the full story.
I like that.
But I will tell you that I bought the business 20 years ago, and the name came with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent a lot of time trying to think of something else more creative and simply couldn't. And everywhere I go, people forget my name, but they remember Uncle Jammers.
Hey,
so,
Uncle, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that actually, it's the website is Uncle. It's just all run together, right? Uncle Jammer.
UncleJammers.com.
Uncle Jammer VT.
No, Uncle Jammer VT is the email.
Oh, okay.
UncleJammers.com is the
okay.
website.
Well, that's simple. Uncle Jammers.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's easy to remember.
Got it both.
UncleJammers.com. And check in with that. Tell us about what type of things that you do as a guide.
Yeah, well, my true love in fly fishing, of course, is trout, and we have some phenomenal wild brook trout fishing and some very scenic rivers here.
Well, you say here. Tell us where you are.
Well, I'm in northwestern Vermont. I'm based a half hour north of Burlington, but cover the north central part of the state predominantly at this time. I hope to expand in the near future, but right now I'm keeping it in that local area.
Mm-hmm.
I know the water's high right now. So what's the best time for us to come back and fish?
In a typical year, if there is such a thing anymore, May and June, and then September and October, I think, are phenomenal months to fish here.
And then in October, you get to see a lot of changing of the season, all the different colors.
Oh, yes. The foliage is beautiful that time of year, and I'm really passionate about some of our great landlocked salmon streams that we have here in Vermont.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, this is really off the ball, but do you have maple trees there?
Yes. Oh, yes. Maple sugaring season is just wrapping up right now, in fact.
Okay.
It's been a very good season.
I've never experienced it, but you just basically make a wound in the bark with a V and put a cup underneath it and let it drip in. Is that how it works?
That's the old-fashioned way. Nowadays, you insert what's called a spout or a spile, and most bigger producers then put a plastic pipeline on that and actually draw it down to their collecting point with a vacuum system.
Oh. Yeah, that's. I tell you what, that stuff isn't cheap, but it sure is good.
Oh, it is good. It's worth every penny.
Matter of fact, isn't Canada? I mean, we used to be on the gold system, but isn't Canada on maple syrup system or back? Like seriously?
No, interesting point. They could be. They are. Vermont is the number one producer in the United States, but Canada, specifically Quebec, is the number one maple syrup producer in the world.
Yeah, no, I think they got the maple syrup standard. It's like, they got maple syrup stocked like, we have gold at Fort Knox.
Yeah, exactly, yes. They've got a lot of it stockpiled for sure.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, do you still do FFF teaching?
Yes, I do. In fact, I really, really am passionate about teaching fly fishing and fly casting and maintain my FFF casting certification. And I'm fortunate also to work at the Wolf School of Fly Fishing as one of their staff instructors.
Yeah, I kind of remembered that. That's why I was asking you. Mm-hmm. Now they call us FFI.
Right. Yep.
Fly Fishing International. But I still call myself FFF.
Yeah, and I still use the old logo as well.
Yeah. Mark, you mentioned that your favorite fly fishing is trout. And, I don't know about Alaska, but I think you'd probably be able to fish trout in any state in the United States. Would you agree with that?
Pretty much, I think. I don't know of a state where you can't find a stream somewhere and
even
for trout.
No, Alaska for sure.
Yeah,
and maybe Florida. I don't know if they have much there, but
Hawaii.
As I said, I don't know.
Yeah, Hawaii would be hard pressed.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is, you're never far from it.
Right. And where I'm located, I'm right near the western border of Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy getting over into New York quite often and fish for trout and steelhead as well.
Mm-hmm.
But here in Vermont, we've got some great trout fishing, and in my immediate area, some phenomenal warm water fishing. And I particularly enjoy getting out for species like gar and bowfin at times, and as well as smallmouth bass.
Oh, by the way,
I will send you a couple of flies.
Okay, I don't.
My crawdad pattern.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Mark, I don't want to interrupt anything, but there's just something I'd like to mention about our website.
Sure.
Frank has come up with an idea, and within the next week or two, hopefully, we're going to have a adventure directory, so that if somebody wants to fish anywhere in the country, they just east of the Rockies and west of the Rockies. Now, everything in the directory is going to have people that we choose, people that we know. We're not just going to take ads from somebody that that wants to get on the page. They have to pass our test because we guarantee their satisfaction. But I think it's a great idea. So you can go to our adventure website, and if you want to go to it would be Baja, Alaska, and exotics,
Vermont,
or east of the Rockies and west of the Rockies, and whatever type of if you want to go fishing or hunting, you'll be able to just go there, and you'll have some of the top outfitters that'll take good care of you at a reasonable price and give you what you paid for.
Oh, I think it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I think it's a wonderful idea.
So do I. Yeah, there's so many to choose from these days. It's good to have some kind of a a clearinghouse, if you will. Yeah.
So we'll hopefully have that up in the next couple of weeks, and we'll start it up and just let it grow.
Nice.
Because the amount of people like you that we know and talk to, we can recommend you, and then we just put you up there, and if anybody wants to go, gee, I want an adventure. Where do I want to go? Well, just look at the webpage, and it'll help you decide.
Outstanding. Yeah, that sounds great.
Good. Okay. Well, that's my paid commercial announcement.
Okay, I got another question.
Sure, Frank.
During the winter, do you sneak down and do a little bone fishing?
Oh, yes. You looked at my website, I bet. Yeah, I certainly do.
I know. Hey, I always know what my friends do.
Yeah, I do love bone fishing, and actually have what I jokingly refer to as a second home in the Bahamas.
Oh,
I don't truly have one, but there's a lodge that I'm very comfortable going to on Andros every year, and love getting out on the flats, just waiting around by myself and experimenting, and owning my own mistakes, but celebrating my own successes. We'll say.
Well, Bahamas for sure, but is there bonefish in Vermont?
No bonefish in Vermont.
All right.
No.
Yeah, all right.
Well, we do have them in California.
Do you really?
Yeah. 10 years ago, they called me a liar. Now everybody knows we have them in San Diego, Newport Beach.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Long Beach. And my favorite place, if I said on the air, I'd have to tell everybody it was listed.
No, Frank, bonefish, aren't they normally, I've never done it, but aren't they normally in warmer water, shallow water, and
yes.
a lot of sandy beach?
That's true, but San Diego Harbor, right there by the Coronado Bridge, I caught them in the 60s.
Uh-huh.
And we still catch them.
Huh.
And then in Newport, we have two places we can fish. One place we can't fish because they have changed our rules of protection.
Yeah. Well, it said normally you'd find them, a lot of them in Florida, and then of course down into the Caribbean and some of the islands down there. But now, why are bonefish so popular?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Frank. Yeah. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I love the challenge. I'm a growing bone fisherman, we'll say, and I'm always leaving every trip with something new I learned, but something I need to improve upon on my next visit.
So I'm assuming that they're not that easy to catch and they fight hard.
That would be true, yes. Mm-hmm. They're not easy to catch and they do fight hard.
Okay. Well, we've only got about a minute left. If you want to bring something else up, Mark, we'd appreciate it. And
yeah.
We are going to give your email site another chance, which is Uncle Jammers, JAMMERS, Uncle Jammers.
That's the website. Yep. And the email is UncleJammerVT at AOL.com.
Yeah. Well, get in touch with you. You got some interesting stuff, and you can take them out there. And you do primarily fly fishing, right?
Primarily fly fishing, that's correct, and a lot of fly fishing instruction.
Okay, well, that sounds perfect. I could use some of that, but Frank will take care of me. Anyway, Mark, we appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon.
The road stretches for miles in front of you, and with the Ram 1500, you'll be able to reach mile after open mile. It gets a best-in-class 25 miles per gallon highway, so your destination won't just be determined by your gas gauge, but by your gauge for achievement. And the Ram 1500 is the first ever back-to-back Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Guts, glory, Ram. See your local Ram dealer today for great deals. EPA estimated 25 mpg highway based on V6 4x2.
A full-service fly shop, His and Her Fly Fishing, offers FFI certified international fly fishing instructor and guide service with Frank Selby. Listen to Frank as host of FishHuntTalkRadio.com or listen live Saturdays at 9 a.m. Pacific Time on Sirius XM Radio Channel 211. Custom flies are handmade to your order in-house in Newport Beach. Fishing in Mexico, Belize, Florida, or the Rockies, Frank and the staff will deliver exactly what you need. Flies and gear. Google His and Her Fly Fishing. The Soft Science footbed absorbs the shock of pounding waves, engine vibration, and even rocky terrain. Soft Science shoes are roomy and relaxed, and they drain and dry quickly. Check out the Soft Science Fin fishing shoes and boots and the Fin H2O for kayaking and canoeing. They're lightweight, slip-resistant, and won't mark your deck. See the new styles for men and women and get your pair on at softscience.com. Alaskan RV Butler. Guiding, fishing, hiking, sightseeing, adventure. The Alaskan RV Butler, like a cruise on wheels in the comfort of an RV. View the wonders of Alaskan interior, streams, ocean, and wildlife. Or fish for the big one, all while pampered by Mike, the Alaskan RV Butler. Mike's inclusive tours serve butter-drenched shellfish and mouth-watering steaks. Mike is your personal chef, chauffeur, guide, and planner. And for the real Alaska, contact MikeRVButler at gmail.com. That's MikeRVButler at gmail.com.
It's time for you to take a real fun adventure. Join a hosted fishing adventure to Alaska or Baja with the staff of Fish Talk Radio. Real Fun Adventures can book you on any adventure you desire. Bring your fishing friends or meet new ones. Fish Talk Radio gets the best deals from our sponsors to give you the best possible price. Real Fun trips are inclusive, easy, no-worry packages to the most popular fish grounds. Trips start around $600. Go to REELFunadventures.com.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan, and we also have our host, Frank Selby. And we got a special person that we've talked about this subject, but we've got somebody on that is probably a specialist or certainly an expert in this particular type of fishing. And this is something that you can do at East Coast, West Coast, South Coast, and it's becoming more and more popular. And we have Bill Varney. Frank, would you like to introduce him?
Yeah, Bill has been around Orange County for a lot of years, and we do a lot of shows together. and I'm proud to call him a friend.
No, that's great. You got a lot of friends.
Well, thank you, Frank.
Yeah. Well, you use my sand crabs a lot, so I really love you.
Now, a couple of questions, Bill. What we're going to be talking about is surf fishing. And, if you're in, Ohio, you probably don't do much of that. But on any coast, fly fishing is becoming more and more popular. Now, do you do primarily only surf fly fishing?
No.
No, I do both fly and bait fishing in the surf. Certainly fly lures and bait fishing, depending on where we are and what time of year it is.
Well, one of the things about surf fishing that I come to learn is that you don't have to throw it 100 feet. You don't have to get it out on the other side of the breakers. If you're standing in the surf, they're probably swimming between your legs.
That's exactly right. I would say 90% of the fish are within about 60 feet of the shore where you're standing, and some of the biggest fish I've ever caught, like an example would be like 11-pound spot fin croaker, would maybe be in just 4 or 5 inches of water, very, very shallow water, where they come in to feed and to hide.
Well, talking about coming to feed, it's, usually you're looking for, of course, if you can find some rocks and you get some boilers and, get some of that, but primarily you're looking for a flat, sandy beach. Is that right?
We're fishing mostly flat, sandy beaches, and we're also fishing areas where there's sand adjacent to rock structures, so near jetties, harbor openings, estuaries, the entrance to estuaries, and then just the open beach. All of those places provide good surf fishing. It's all determined by what the topography is, and once you learn, I should say, what to look for as far as troughs and holes and currents and rip currents and such, you'll be very, very successful regardless of what beach you're on.
2 quick points. First of all, part of the reason they're in such shallow water is the waves come in and go out. There's these little critters that live in the sand. They're called sand crabs, and fish love them. And when the water goes out and you see these like almost like a little dot or, underneath the sand, what do you call it?
Anyway, a little V-shaped.
Yeah, and what you do is you just dig underneath a little bit, and you'll find some sand crabs. And it's probably the most effective bait that you can use in the surf. Is that correct?
Well, sand crabs are probably one of the best baits to use in the surf anywhere in the world. If you go to the East Coast, they're referred to as sand fleas, or down along the Texas coast, they're referred to sand fleas. On the West Coast, they're referred to as sand crabs, same creature. And then if you go to tropical climates, you'll find them there also. So if you go to Hawaii or Fiji or Mexico, you'll find sand crabs in those areas. Yeah. And they usually occur in 3 basic groups. Sand crabs that live in water that is below 60 degrees. So you'd find those on the West Coast anywhere from Santa Barbara to Seattle, let's say, and then sand crabs that live above 60 degrees, so about 60 to 70 degree crabs, and you'll find those from Los Angeles all the way down to, probably about halfway down the Baja Peninsula. And then once you get below the Baja Peninsula and you're in tropical climates like Hawaii or Fiji or Mexico, Guatemala, you'll find them there also, and they occur in water all the way up to 95 degrees. They have slight variations in their look, but really they're the same creature, and they just work great for bait.
Yeah, the fish love them. And if you get a fish and open it up, you'll probably find a lot of sand crabs in there, and that's why they work so well. And I think Frank ties a sand crab pattern on the flies he makes, don't you, Frank?
Yeah, I've been tying it for over 50 years.
And it works?
It works.
Yeah.
Ask Bill.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, Bill, a couple of quick questions. We mentioned that, when you're surf fishing, you don't have to throw it out past the breakers because, like what'd you say, like 60% are in, right swimming under your feet.
Right, that's right, within 50 feet of shore. And the reason that they're doing that is because, number one, they have a place to hide. If they're outside the surf line where the water is really clear, larger fish, particularly sharks, rays and stuff, will eat them. But maybe more importantly, inside the surf zone, when the waves break, it churns up the bottom, which churns up clams and crabs, worms, other forms of food for them, and that's where they can sit and feed.
Well, where the food is, that's where the fish are. And
that's right.
Big fish eat little fish.
Exactly, absolutely.
Now, another thing I'd like to ask you, we don't have a lot of time, but when you're out there, how do you read the water? In other words, if you get a little bit of a dip, or what do you call it? Help me out, Frank. You can kind of look and see different spots.
The Corbina Highway, the backwash.
Yeah. So what is it when you're walking down the beach? Where do you decide and go fishing? What are you looking for?
Well, we're always looking for anomalies in the sand bottom. So if I was to walk down the beach and there was a jetty there, for example, I just fish right along the edge of where the rocks underwater touch the sand, and right on that edge is where the fish are going to be. But in general, we're going to be fishing on open beach. So we're always looking for anomalies in the sand, like a trough, a hole, a depression. And these troughs are created every single day by waves. When the wave breaks, the inertia from the wave upsets the bottom and basically carves a trough in it. This is where fish like to hide, and this is also where their food is. So the first thing I would do is, if I was to go there at low tide, I'd walk along the beach and I would look for depressions. And they may be 3 feet wide and 100 feet long, or they may be 10 feet wide and 30 feet long. They'll be different sizes and shapes. And then I'll turn back and I'll line that up with something permanent on shore, like a light pole or a house. And then I'll go back at higher tide when it's covered with water, and I'll cast right to that area after lining myself up.
Oh.
So at low tide, it's easy. At high tide, I just watch the swimmers and surfers when they go in and out of the water. And if I see them dip down close to shore and then come back up, out of the water, I'll fish there.
The Corbina Highway.
That's right. That's right.
Well, is it more successful to fish at low tide or high tide?
Well, it depends on what type of beach you're on. If you're on a dredged beach, so those would be beaches where they've gone and they've dredged it in order to make the beach wider, they'll normally fish best at high tide, so 2 hours before high tide to 2 hours after. But if you go to places where the beach is still in its natural state and has been that way for a million years, you'll find that both high and low tide may be good, but most of the time we have found that about an hour after low tide up toward high tide is the best time to fish those beaches, because as each successive wave comes in, the fish ride those waves in looking for food, and they're really brought right up the beach to you.
Well, of course, the farther south you go, the less tide there is. But
yes,
is it where was it? Slack tide. Did that make a difference?
Well,
you sit down and have something to eat.
Right. A lot of times with slack tide, many fish in the surf, like perch and corbina and spotfin, yellowfin croaker, they don't feed a lot at a slack tide period because there's not much water moving. But fish that do feed at that period, and that's the only time to fish for those fish, are halibut. Any slack tide period, half an hour before high to half an hour after, half an hour before low to half an hour after, is a great time to fish for halibut, because they are generally buried in the sand, and they are not, or flounder, and they are not going to come out of that sand unless something comes right to them. So when there's very little water movement, they're willing to go out and strike something. When the water and the current is moving, they're not, because they're like a kite, and they will catch that current, and it'll take them, feet away from where they want to be. And
halibut, I guess you could use, sand crab for everything, but normally around here we use anchovies.
Right. And of course, in Frank's world, in fly fishing, the Clouser minnow, particularly like the chartreuse and white or the red and white, deceivers, really any fly that resembles a small fry, which would be, in this case, they're usually baby barred surf perch. Anything that kind of looks like that and is shiny is effective for halibut in the surf.
Oh, I got to tell you a quick story about Frank. We were in Alaska last year, and he brought his fly rod. He says, "I'm going to catch a halibut on a fly." And I said, "Frank, if anybody can do it, you can, but you don't catch halibut on a fly rod. First of all, they're deep, and, they don't go for flies. And you can bring it and try it if you want to, and if anybody can do it, you can, but I don't think you're getting much luck at it. Well, guess what? You know the rest of the story.
You were wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah, anyway, I didn't want to slow you down. We got less than a minute, so I don't know if there's anything else you want to slide in there.
Yeah, his website.
The only thing I would suggest to folks is if they want more information about surf fishing, they can always go to my site, which has articles, educational videos, tides, information, and that is fishthesurf.com.
Oh, I love websites that are easy to remember. Fish the Surf. How can you forget that?
Fishthesurf.com.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Mm-hmm. And then you also do guiding?
I do. I didn't do guiding so much, but we do seminars in the summer in the West Coast.
Yeah, and you're in
we
Southern
do about
California.
9 of them where we take folks right down on the beach. We usually have a group of about 50 to 60 folks. We supply all the bait, all the instruction. We take you right to the sand, and we show exactly how to surf fish.
Okay, well, that's it.
We're
We're out, so just go to really difficult, fishthesurf.com, and we'll be right back with you. Go to our website, and you can listen to the show as many times as you want.
A few years ago, a sailor set out to design a boat shoe that was comfortable and stable, non-skid, and wouldn't mark the decks. Today, these incredibly comfortable shoes are worn by anglers, boaters, professional guides, and charter captains. Go to softscience.com to see more. Soft Science shoes and boots are lightweight and shock absorbent with just the right level of support. Several styles come in all sizes. Enjoy the Soft Science shoe in the water and out. Check them out at softscience.com. Used by fishermen who know where to get the best fishing gear around, AFTCO makes the highest quality fishing rod components worldwide. If it says AFTCO, you know you have a quality rod. Guy Harvey Clothing, the best outdoor clothing line anywhere, is also available through AFTCO. Longest lasting, functional, and best looking clothing you'll be proud to wear. Only the very best materials and workmanship. As soon as you put it on, you'll know the difference. Look for AFTCO at quality retailers or go to aftco.com.
Have you noticed the changes in Google lately? Did anybody line you out? You can't fake it anymore. They know who said it first, who said it best, who said it the most, who was the most popular, and that just happens to be me since the late 80s, which means that I can put up a page, a post, or a website, optimize it properly, spread it around to 22 million people, and put you on top of your results pages for your chosen searches basically overnight. WhiteMountainBusiness.com. Don't want to wait that long? Already have a website that you thought was optimized and doesn't rank anywhere? I can fix that too. Maybe you don't want to wait. Maybe you just want to call me. 928-228-9228. That's 928-228-9228. I've done it for literally thousands, and I could do it for you.
Fish on!
That's a big one.
For passionate sports fishermen who value first-class fishing experiences paired with personalized service and amenities, all-inclusive Salmon Falls Fishing Resort on the Inland Passage reinvents the Ketchikan fishing getaway. Guests enjoy exceptional gourmet cuisine, superior fishing excursions, fully guided charter or self-guided in center console boats accommodating 3 anglers, updated guest rooms and suites, on-site fishing processing to clean, freeze, and pack your catch. Rooms range from log cabin rustic to modern. Our 52 rooms offer the ultimate in comfort after a long day of sightseeing, fishing, and exploring Ketchikan. Non-anglers love Salmon Falls too, shopping along Creek Street, kayaking, hiking, whale watching, or gathering around our fire pits with a hot beverage, all at prices less than expected. Just pull up Salmon Falls Resort in your search engine.
Oh, hey.
Welcome back to Fish Talk Hunt Radio with John Hennigan.
This is John Hennigan, and we have our host, Frank Selby.
I'm here.
Okay, and we also have our good friend Frank Burr from Snowbee. Now, if Frank, if you don't mind, I'd like to start off real quick with an announcement. Is that we have put together with our sponsors some incredible deals. It's amazing. The first one is we've worked a deal with Salmon Falls Resort for an all-inclusive trip, and it's actually on the Viejo Island, Ketchikan. You don't have to get on a float plane, but it's probably the finest resort in Ketchikan, and I would consider it close to a 4-star, but a high-end restaurant. And this is a all-inclusive trip with 1 day of full charter. In Alaska, they usually get $375-$400 for just one person. And then you'll have 5 nights, 4 days. So you have 1 day on a full charter, 3 days on an 18-foot center console that can take up to 3 people. And you're your own guide. Come and go as you please. And you don't have to go far. You put your line in the water as soon as you leave the dock. But and then if you want to go into town, they get a shuttle service. If you want to go out for 4-6 hours and come back in and go into town, that's fine. But this trip, if you were to, it's a very reasonably priced for what it is. And if you were to book it through the resort, it'd be about $3,300. We're offering it to our listeners for $2,100. And, you know, the charter is like $375 worth that. It's an unbelievable. If you don't do this, then you don't want to go to Alaska. But if you do, I don't know if we're going to be able to do this again next year or not. So we want people, we've just kind of put it together in the last couple of weeks. So we need people to get in touch with us. It'll be July 28th until August 2nd or something like that. It's 5 days, 4 nights. So you need to get in touch with me because we expect to sell out very quickly and there's limited rooms. But for this situation and this price, Jenny just raised her hand. I'm going. And, you know, I just started to mention it to a few people without even promoting it. And they go, oh, yeah, I could do that. And if you got a paper route, you can do that. But it is high end. And normally in Alaska, you're looking at about $1,000 a day for a nice lodge by the time you're all in. $2,100 plus airfare, a couple $100 in fees, and, you know, maybe a couple drinks in the bar. But it's an unbelievable bargain. So please get in as soon as possible. We want to get it booked up and sold out as soon as we can. And if you can just go to our website and just get in touch with me, or you can just email me. My name is John. Just email John at fishtalkradio.com. But if you don't do this, then
you don't want to go to Alaska.
Either that or you're just stupid. I don't mean this to be rude, but I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? You know, people that wouldn't think they wanted to go, they go, shoot, I can do that. Anyway, Frank Burr at Snowbee, we have a deal. Snowbee has quality, high quality, at probably the lowest prices you're going to find in the fly fishing industry. But tell us about what you got going on, Frank, with your special deal for our listeners.
Well, we're running a special for your listeners at Fish Talk Radio. Everything that we have available online, we're giving a 20% off discount to Fish Talk Radio listeners using the code FISHTALK with no space. Just make it one word, and you can get 20% off of everything that we carry. And
if they buy a fly rod or fly rod combo, I think we know somebody that can send us some flies.
Absolutely.
Frank, is that all right?
That would be Frank Snowbee.
Yeah, it would be. All right. Now,
thank you guys for volunteering me.
Yeah, just go online, and it is fishtalkradio.com. The website is Fish Hunt Talk Radio.